Simo Häyhä, the White Death. The winter of 1939 transformed Finland into a frozen battlefield of white forests and endless snow. When the Soviet Union invaded Finland in the Winter War, Moscow expected a quick and overwhelming victory. The Red Army marched in enormous numbers, confident that Finland's smaller forces would collapse quickly. Instead, Soviet soldiers began disappearing, one by one. Some fell in open fields. Some collapsed while marching through forests. Some died before they even realized they were under attack. No artillery, no machine gun fire, just a single shot. The man behind many of those deaths was Simo Häyhä, a quiet Finnish farmer who had spent most of his life hunting in the forests of Karelia. Häyhä understood snow, the way sailors understand the sea. He dressed entirely in white camouflage and buried himself in snowbanks for hours at a time. To avoid giving away his position in the freezing air, he sometimes packed snow inside his mouth so his breath would not form visible vapor. Unlike many snipers, Häyhä refused to use a rifle scope. A scope could reflect sunlight and reveal a sniper's position. Instead, he relied on simple iron sights and an extraordinary level of precision. Soviet soldiers soon began whispering about an invisible killer moving through the forests. They called him Belaya Smrt, the White Death. By the end of the Winter War in 1940, Simo Häyhä had recorded over 500 confirmed sniper kills, making him the deadliest sniper in recorded military history. But war rarely allows legends to leave untouched. In March 1940, an explosive Soviet bullet struck Häyhä in the face, shattering much of his jaw. He collapsed into a coma just days before the war ended. When he finally woke weeks later, Finland had survived the invasion, and the legend of the White Death had already entered military history. Lyudmila Pavlichenko, Lady Death. In 1941, Nazi Germany launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in human history. Across the Eastern Front, millions of soldiers collided in a war of unimaginable scale. Among them was a young Soviet university student named Lyudmila Pavlichenko. Before the war, she studied history in Kyiv. But when Germany invaded, Pavlichenko volunteered for the Red Army and insisted on joining the infantry rather than becoming a nurse. She was already a skilled marksman. The Soviet command quickly realized her potential and assigned her as a sniper. Her first kill came near Odessa, then another, then another. Soon her reputation began spreading through the ranks. German soldiers learned to fear the quiet crack of a rifle that seemed to come from nowhere. By the time Pavlichenko was pulled from combat due to injuries, she had 309 confirmed kills, making her the most successful female sniper in history. The Germans even broadcast messages over loudspeakers offering rewards if Soviet soldiers captured her alive, but they never did. Instead, Pavlichenko became a symbol of Soviet resistance and was later sent abroad to rally Allied support. In the United States, she met President Franklin D. Roosevelt and First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. During one speech in Chicago, she addressed the crowd with chilling directness. "Gentlemen," she said, "I am 25 years old, and I have killed 309 fascist invaders. Don't you think you have been hiding behind my back for too long?" Her words echoed across wartime newspapers. The world knew her by another name. Lady Death, Vasily Zaitsev, the sniper of Stalingrad. Few battles in history have matched the brutality of Stalingrad. Between 1942 and 1943, the ruined city became a maze of shattered buildings, collapsed factories, and endless rubble. It was perfect terrain for snipers. One of the most famous among them was Vasily Zaitsev, a Soviet sniper from the Ural Mountains. Zaitsev had grown up hunting deer and wolves. In Stalingrad, he hunted something else: German soldiers. He developed new sniper tactics inside the ruins, teaching soldiers how to blend into rubble and move silently through destroyed buildings. Within weeks, Zaitsev had accumulated over 200 confirmed kills, but his legend was cemented by a story that became one of the most famous sniper duels in history. According to Soviet accounts, the German command sent an elite sniper, often identified as Major Erwin Koenig, to eliminate Zaitsev. For days, the two snipers hunted each other through the wreckage of the city. Neither moved carelessly, neither fired first. Finally, Zaitsev noticed a small reflection, a sniper scope hidden in the rubble. He waited patiently. Hours passed. Then the German sniper exposed himself slightly. Zaitsev fired once. The duel was over. Whether every detail of the story is accurate remains debated by historians. But the legend of the sniper duel at Stalingrad became one of the defining stories of the Eastern Front, and Zaitsev's name became synonymous with sniper warfare. Ivan Sidorenko, the sniper trainer. While some snipers became famous for their individual kills, others shaped the battlefield in a different way. Ivan Sidorenko was one of those men. A Soviet artillery officer turned sniper, Sidorenko quickly proved himself to be an exceptional marksman. During World War II, he recorded around 500 confirmed kills, placing him among the deadliest snipers of the war. But Sidorenko's greatest impact was not just the enemies he eliminated. It was the snipers he trained. Recognizing the effectiveness of sniper warfare, Soviet command began establishing formal sniper training programs. Sidorenko became one of their leading instructors. He trained hundreds of snipers who would go on to fight across the Eastern Front. Each of them carried the techniques he had refined: camouflage, patience, and psychological warfare. Through them, Sidorenko multiplied his influence across an entire army. Sometimes the deadliest weapon is not a single rifle. Sometimes it is the knowledge passed from one sniper to the next. Matthias Hetzenauer, the Alpine hunter. High in the mountains of Austria, hunting had always been a way of life. For Matthias Hetzenauer, those hunting skills would eventually translate into war. Hetzenauer served as a sniper in the German Wehrmacht during World War II. Operating mainly on the Eastern Front, he became known for his remarkable accuracy at extreme distances. Using a scoped Karabiner 98 Kiem rifle, Hetzenauer recorded 345 confirmed kills, many of them at ranges exceeding 400 meters. His longest confirmed shot was approximately 1,100 meters, an extraordinary distance for the technology of the time. But Hetzenauer's skill was not only about distance. Like all effective snipers, he mastered patience. He could remain motionless for hours, waiting for a single opportunity. The mountains had taught him that. War merely changed the target. Carlos Hathcock, the White Feather. During the Vietnam War, the United States Marine Corps produced one of the most legendary snipers in modern warfare. His name was Carlos Hathcock. Hathcock wore a small white feather in his hat, a habit that eventually became his nickname. To enemy forces, he became known simply as the White Feather. Hathcock recorded 93 confirmed kills, though many historians believe his true number was significantly higher. But numbers alone do not explain his legend. One of his most famous missions involved crawling nearly 1,500 meters over 3 days through enemy territory to eliminate a North Vietnamese general. He moved only inches at a time, hiding beneath grass and mud while enemy patrols walked past him. At one point, a snake even crawled across his body. He did not move. When the moment finally came, Hathcock fired a single shot. Then he crawled all the way back. The mission succeeded. The enemy never knew he had been there. Chuck Mawhinney, the quiet record holder, another American sniper in Vietnam, quietly surpassed Hathcock's confirmed kills. His name was Chuck Mawhinney. Serving with the U.S. Marines, Mawhinney recorded 103 confirmed kills and over 200 probable kills. Yet for decades, his achievements remained largely unknown. Unlike some snipers whose stories became legendary immediately, Mawhinney returned home quietly after the war. He went back to civilian life and rarely spoke about his service. Only years later did historians fully document his record. Sometimes the deadliest soldiers are the ones who leave the battlefield without seeking recognition. Adelbert Waldron, America's deadliest sniper. During the Vietnam War, Adelbert Waldron became the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history. He recorded 109 confirmed kills. Waldron served with the U.S. Army's 9th Infantry Division, operating in the dangerous Mekong Delta region. His most famous shot occurred while he was standing on a moving patrol boat. Through dense jungle and shifting water, Waldron spotted an enemy soldier nearly 900 meters away. The target was riding a bicycle. Waldron fired once. The enemy fell instantly. It remains one of the most remarkable sniper shots ever recorded. Francis Pega-Magabao, the indigenous ghost. During World War I, one of the most successful snipers fought not in snow or jungle, but in the trenches of Europe. His name was Francis Pega-Magabao, a Canadian soldier from the Ojibwe First Nation. Pega-Magabao possessed extraordinary stealth and tracking skills learned from his indigenous heritage. In the brutal trench warfare of the Western Front, those skills made him deadly. He recorded 378 kills and captured hundreds of enemy soldiers. German troops rarely saw him. They simply knew he was somewhere in the trenches. Zhang Taofang, the Scopeless. Sniper. During the Korean War, a Chinese sniper named Zhang Taofang achieved something remarkable. He recorded 214 kills. What made his record extraordinary was the equipment he used. His rifle had no scope. Taofong relied purely on iron sights and exceptional patience. Operating in harsh mountain terrain, he spent weeks learning the movement patterns of enemy soldiers. Then he waited, and when the moment came, he fired. Rob Furlong, the record-breaking shot in 2002, during the war in Afghanistan, Canadian sniper Rob Furlong made history. Using a Macmillan Tax 50 rifle, he fired a shot at a Taliban fighter from 2,430 meters away. That is nearly 1.5 miles. The bullet traveled for several seconds before striking the target. At the time, it became the longest confirmed sniper kill in history. It proved that modern rifles had pushed sniper warfare into distances once thought impossible. Craig Harrison, the shot across the desert. 7 years later, another sniper pushed that limit even further. In 2009, British sniper Craig Harrison broke the record in Afghanistan. His shot traveled 2,475 meters, nearly 2.5 kilometers. The bullet remained in the air for almost 6 seconds before striking its target. At that distance, even the rotation of the earth and air pressure must be considered. It was not just a shot. It was physics in motion. Chris Kyle, the Iraq War sniper. During the Iraq War, Chris Kyle became the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history. He recorded 160 confirmed kills and over 255 claimed kills. Operating in cities like Fallujah and Ramadi, Kyle's role was often to protect U.S. Marines moving through urban combat zones. Enemy fighters quickly learned to fear a sniper watching the streets from hidden positions. Insurgents even placed bounties on his head. They called him the Devil of Ramadi. Fyodor Okolupkov, the Siberian hunter. Another deadly sniper of the Eastern Front was Fyodor Okolupkov. He joined the Soviet army after his brother was killed in battle. War became personal. Okolupkov eventually recorded over 400 confirmed kills. Like many snipers from Siberia, he had grown up hunting in harsh wilderness conditions. That upbringing turned him into a ghost on the battlefield. Abdullah al-Rashidi, modern sniper warfare. In modern conflicts across the Middle East, sniper warfare has taken on a new form. Urban combat, insurgency, and digital warfare have transformed how snipers operate. Figures like Abdullah al-Rashidi represent the continuation of sniper tactics into modern conflicts. Today's snipers rely on advanced optics, ballistic computers, and precision rifles capable of extreme distances. Yet, the core principle remains unchanged. Patience, silence, one shot. History remembers generals, armies, and empires, but sometimes the most decisive moment in a battle comes from a single soldier lying perfectly still. A breath slows, a trigger moves, and somewhere in the distance, a war changes. Because on every battlefield in history, there is always someone watching through a scope.